So this is the second wrap from the centerfold and has the same issues, right? Same exact problems. So what we're gonna do for this one, keep it dry and apply cyclomethicone D5 to the areas of treatment, and then apply the gels. And then to remove the cyclomethicone at the end, we put it into a heptane bath, right? We use a steam essentially. And that'll take care of any tight lines the cyclomethicone may create. Otherwise, the rust itself should be gone too because of the gels. So we'll apply the cyclomethicone D5 first. Takes it a little bit to evaporate. We're going to cover this so it doesn't evaporate fast. Apply it directly to the areas of application, like this, with a brush. I'm going to apply the agar gels to the whole area here, but it didn't work last time, but we'll see. And then we'll let it penetrate a little bit, and then we can go ahead do the agar gels. Now these agar gels, I made them a bit thinner. Instead of making 100 mils of agar, I made 50 mils of agar, put it in the dish so it was half the size, right? And otherwise they have also in them the evaporust, right? So here's one. I suppose could have used a smaller jar, but that's right. So we put them on this first to make it easier to take off afterwards. And this needs more cyclomethicone, this area here. Do some more cyclomethicone here, like this. My gel's a little bit big. All right. Put this on like this. And then these other gels. Here we go. And then the top. Just like that. Finally, we're going to cover this with plastic sheet like this. We'll place lightweight on top of these agar gels so they sit in place and they press it, and then come back later and evaluate. All right, so this is overnight, guys. All right, and I did apply the gels to both sides, right? And take a look at this side. Look at that. Look at the color of the gel, right? How it turns. You turn the other lights on so you can see it. It turns this brownish color. So it's sucking up some of that staining, but not all of it. And virtually all the black color is gone from here, right? And the same thing for this one here on the top. So we'll do the other side. We'll take a look at the other side. Don't want to rip it, so I'm going to take this off. Get these off as well. You can see the Vaporous did a great job, right? The bottom one. The top one still has some that didn't come off, but maybe a little bit longer application will get this off, right? Maybe I'll do that. I'll just like let this sit a bit longer. I'll apply another gel, let it sit longer, and see how it looks like in a few hours. Because this one is like the entire rust migration is gone. Just a little bit left here and here, right? Pretty dramatic. Why do that? So I need to brush it again with cyclomethicone and apply the gel again. All right, guys. So there is, you can see the lines on the cyclomethicone here. And you can see the lines here on the cyclomethicone. So what we're going to do, much like we did with the experimental wrap, is to immerse this wrap in Bestine, right? Once you put it in Bestine for like a minute, these tight lines should go away. And then we can proceed on with the conservation of the wrap, which is the calcium hydroxide bath. Pretty good. So I'm going to apply cyclomethicone to both sides again. Over this area. I do it liberally, right, which is because cyclomethicone eventually is going to spread on its own anyways. And then I'll apply one of the gels to this top staple area, this little gel here. And I'll do the same thing on the bottom side. And then apply the other side. On the top, a little weight just to keep things in place. We'll let it go for a few hours. So this is another 5 hours or so. I left it with the gels, and you can see the gels picked up some more color. And again, this here, the black color is all gone. Same goes for the bottom staple, which I didn't retreat. But these look like now they just need Tengu tissue. You don't need to treat them with leaf casting anymore. And so I am really happy with the results here, guys. All we need to do now is let this dry. After it dries, we're gonna subject it to Bestine for like a minute, and Bestine will take care of the tight lines, these tight lines that you see here, right? And these are the silicone tight lines. So we'll get rid of them. And the wrap is done without, of course, the deacidification bath, which I need to do still. This is almost entirely dry treatment, and the only water available was in the rust remover. That's about it. Otherwise, we didn't spray it, we didn't do any deacidification to the wrap at all, and it's maintained its structure. No issues as far as color bleeding or any of that, right? So yeah, so I'll wait for the cyclomethicone to dry, and then I'll stick it into a Bestine bath and see how it looks afterwards. So here's the wrap after everything dried out, and you can see that there is a tight line, very, very faint, right? And we're going to put this into Bestine bath quickly for less than a minute, I would say. Take it out, let it dry, and this tight line will go away, essentially. Right. And then the, let's go to the back here. We can repair these with Tengu tissue in the back, right? I can do Tengu tissue here. There's nothing really to exercise. Looks like everything came out, like some discoloration here, but that's nothing major, really. So I'm pretty happy with the way it came out, guys. So the next wrap we're gonna do, it's gonna be done differently also. So this is another method of doing it. The third wrap, what we're gonna do for this one, for the next one, is to first bring the pH to about pH 6, the same pH of Evaporust, and then apply the agar gels, right? We'll see how that method works. This needs deacidification still, this wrap, so it hasn't undergone that yet. I will do that off camera. And the pH, starting pH of the wrap is about 4, and we're gonna go to pH 6 with it. pH 8 with it, right? When we're done with it. All right, so I'm gonna do this in the yard, and I'm gonna pour the Bestine over the wrap. You can see the tide line now. I'm gonna just pour it over like this. Let it soak for like 1 minute, and then we'll evaluate what happens to the tide line. You don't see it anymore anyways. It's like gone, right? No tide line. So we'll take it out, let it dry, and then check it out again. And just like that, a minute later, the wrap is completely dry, and tide lines from the silicone are gone. So just a matter of now of deacidifying the wrap, and I'm gonna do this off camera, but basically we're gonna bring it up to pH 8 with successive treatments with calcium hydroxide water baths, right? Diluted calcium hydroxide water baths. All right, and then I'll show you the results, and then we'll move on to the next wrap. And the next wrap we're gonna do is deacidify it first, bring it to a pH 6 or so, and then treat the rust, and then continue on with the deacidification process. So a bit different, right? So these are 3 different methods I showed, and we'll compare between them at the end and see which one is really the best, and if there is a better method than the other. So stay tuned for the results, guys. So this was 15 minutes bath in calcium hydroxide and still at pH between 4. So it's just agar gels in water, because there is some staining. I'd like to see if they can lift it, right? Like you see it here. I don't know if they can, but if they can, that's a good thing. This is after the bath, basically, right? And these shouldn't leave any tide lines, right? They shouldn't leave any tide lines. Don't have to worry about tide lines. Put one here. But they could selectively like lighten and show the outline of the agar once they lightened the area. It's possible, you know. But let's see if we can lift some of that staining at least. Here we go. So the wrap now is fully dry, and you can see that the rust migration is entirely gone. There are some like little bit of tide lines, and these were kind of present initially, and that's part of the staining that the book has, right? You can see the staining here. So the bleaching effect of the evaporust at removing the rust is located in this area essentially, right? And this area is not did not diffuse into it, so still a little bit brownish, right? But the wrap had undergone already 2 washes. It's at pH 7. It needs a 3rd wash. After that, I can fix these, and I might end up using Tengujo tissue that is 9 grams in weight instead of the 5 grams in weight, right? More heavy duty kind of Tengujo tissue, right? And then we'll assess it at the end, right? So we'll have this, we have the first wrap, we have this wrap, and then we'll do a 3rd wrap different, might do a 4th wrap different, and then assess all of them and see what's the best method to use for removing rust migration without necessarily harming the paper, right? So this underwent essentially altogether 3 quick washes and drying at the end. The first wrap had to endure sitting in water essentially for overnight, and so the acidity of the cover was 4.0 and sat in that 4.0 for like overnight, which is not a great idea, right? So this one looks healthier to me. It has a better feel to it than the first one. Anyways, we'll compare between all of them later on when I'm done with the other 2 techniques, if you will. All right, guys, so thanks for watching this, and we'll see you on the next episode.